and feed night, 10 boards, dude's a machine. But I got to say, man, Nick Nurse looks a lot different. This offense, and I mean, this whole team looks so much different without Doc and James Harden. I think Nick Nurse coming in there with Tyrese Maxey, I think this team is overall better. Do I know that they're better than Boston? Do I know that they're better than the Bucks? No, I still think this is the class. But they did last night at home defend their home turf and beat the Celtics. That was very impressive. Now, James Harden went to the Clippers. And they went and played the Nets. Remember the team that James Harden couldn't stand being on?
That's right.
Broke up the whole thing with Kyrie, KD, and James.
That's right.
Ben Simmons still over there with his bling not doing jack. Like, this Brooklyn team, you got to feel bad for their management. You know when they got that thing done, you know they were just like the talk of the town. They were walking around the city with their chest out. Everybody in their front office like was coming out like when they come out to work with like a walkout song. Everything was awesome. And it just all fell apart. I thought the 76ers was about to fall apart kind of like Brooklyn. Nope. James Harden, as awful as he was and ticked off and how much he can't stand 76ers organization and Daryl Morey, they are a better basketball team this year than they were last year. And they had 2 opportunities to go to the finals, and they couldn't cash in on Game 6 or Game 7. Big reason, James Harden. Watch out for the 76ers. Now the Clippers again, I don't know what the hell they're going to do. I still don't see how this thing works. You got Zubac, and then you got Harden and Westbrook. You got Kawhi and Paul. I love Kawhi and Paul. They're bad to the bone. But James Harden just ain't that dude anymore. And R-Dub, I don't know. I think he actually runs the whole point better. They lost last night. It's funny. Lost the first 2 games that he start. Again, it's early. A lot of basketball left. But on the other hand, did you see what the heck happened to the Lakers last night?
Yeah, I was kind of keeping tabs on that because I wanted to see Dillon Brooks versus LeBron James, which was hilarious, by the way.
Yes, I love. Did you see when he went down to the other end of the court and they were just wanting to inbound the ball and they stood there for like 17 to 20 seconds staring at each other?
Well, John, that doesn't even do it justice because the video is hilarious because there's someone took a video from the stands and you see them just like face to face with each other. More Dillon Brooks doing it than LeBron. LeBron was just chilling.
I like it though at the end when LeBron just put his hands on his sides and he kind of looked like he was Superman.
Yeah, and then but the funny thing is you're watching this and you're like, what is happening? Like, why is this happening?
Old-fashioned stare down.
And then you see the rest of the players coming onto the court from a timeout. So they were in a timeout and they just stayed on the court staring at each other, which is hilarious.
But it was hilarious. But think about this. Dillon Brooks got the last laugh because that was a damn beatdown of epic proportions. Like, that was an absolute butt whipping. You know why?
The Lakers were missing 3 or 4 guys, weren't they?
Yeah, and that one dude named AD, Plastic Man. Plastic Man.
Yeah, he's got a groin injury, doesn't he?
No, I think he was having oblique spasms
that doesn't sound fun.
or spasms or something.
I thought it was groin spasms.
No. Look it up. I think it had to do with his oblique.
Because people were making jokes about it. No, I don't want Anthony Davis' stats. I want to know why he was out.
I'm pretty sure it
hip spasms.
Hip spasms. I knew it was some damn spasms.
Some sort of spasm.
Damn, getting a spasm in your hip. I had one of those actually one night. It's not good for either party. It was horrible. Interesting.
Hip spasm. That's why he was out last night.
Damn. But the Lakers, man. That you realize they're 3-5.
Oh yeah. Better than they started the season last year.
That is true. That's what I've been hearing from Laker fans. Oh, man, they just start slow. They just start slow. They just start slow. All right, man. If you say so. I mean, is D'Lo going to get any better? No. Austin Reeves, I don't think he's that dude, by the way. I don't think he hit a third. He didn't.
I see where my confusion came from. At halftime of the Heat game, which was their game before this one, Shams Charania reported that Anthony Davis was dealing with hip and groin spasms, but would try to play through them in the second half. Where I was like, what is a groin spasm?
Hip and groin?
Hip and groin. And so now I guess after the game, they just diagnosed it as a hip spasm.
Sounds like this man's putting in work before the game.
Sounds
doesn't
like
it?
it. Doing
you
a
never
full
heard that
workout or
doing that is
something.
makes you soft in your legs.
Well, that's what, oh, you mean that work. Interesting. I
Yeah,
thought
don't
you were
be
talking
putting in
about,
it. You have to abstain.
I see. I thought you were talking about like the Suns. They are known for like after every game they'll go and they have like a mini gym in the hallway under the in the arena, and they'll go like work out after games. That's what
Kinda
I
like
thought
Nolan
you were saying,
Ryan.
putting in work.
No. They're putting in a different
see,
type
yes.
of
No,
work,
no, I'm-
which
I'm-
is causing his groin and his hip
No,
spasms.
John, we're on the same page now.
All right.
wasn't
Just
a
making
second
sure
ago.
everybody's on that page. You can't do that, man. You got to relax, AD, especially if you want to play. But then there was a couple other things that were very, very surprising last night. And Bucks barely beat the Pistons, but man, did you see? I mean, Jalen Duren's becoming a dude,
No,
bro.
he's awesome, and
He had 12 boards, 11 points, little double action, and
another Tuesday night for him.
he had 5 assists.
Oh wow, I didn't know about the assists.
Yeah.
And then Giannis was ejected from that game. He got 2 technicals.
Yep, show did. Damian Lillard went off. Man, he couldn't buy a 3-pointer last night, but he still finished with 34. I'll tell you one thing, he gets to the free throw line, doesn't he?
Sure does.
Damn, he can get to the free throw line. But I just had to say, man, Jalen Duren is becoming a dude. So keep watching. Other thing, did you see the Warriors Nuggets last night?
I did not.
Damn, Clay couldn't get the shot off, man. They were down 3, couldn't get the shot off. But Jokic did his thing. Of course, he had 35 points, 13 boards.
John, I was actually last night. I watched a lot of college basketball in addition to watching the
Did
Grizzlies
not watch
game.
any college basketball last night. Did you see anything that was important?
Yeah, I was actually about to tell you. Because I think you would actually like this a lot. I hated it. I couldn't stand it. But I'm sure you would like it. But it doesn't bother me. I don't watch, if I'm watching games, I don't usually watch games with the sound on. I'll have the sound off, and my main TV I'll have the sound on. So I had the Grizzlies sound on. On my computer I didn't have the sound on, so I wasn't listening to it. Are you familiar with Barstool Sports?
Of course, I'm familiar with Barstool Sports. That's oh my gosh, who owns it?
The
crazy dude.
Yeah, I forget his name. So they did the Barstool Invitational last night in Chicago. 2 basketball games. The first game was Florida Atlantic Loyola Chicago, which I obviously had a lot of interest in because obviously Memphis will play FAU later this season. And then the second game was Arizona State and Mississippi State. And John, they had one commentator there that I think actually has play-by-play history. The other 2 guys there were Barstool guys, Big Cat and whoever owns it. I forget his name. Dave Portnoy.
Portnoy, that's it. Portnoy.
And so they were there, and then the guy, and then some actual commentator. The entire game, they were just talking about their bets. And eventually it got
sounds
to a
like
point.
sounds like
something you would. It sounds like something you would love. And then we got to a point where I guess one of them had a total, the over in the game, and so we had a countdown on the score bug of how many points needed to be scored for him to get his over. And so every time they'd make a basket, they'd change it, and it would go down from 15 to 13, then to
I do that.
12.
I love doing that.
So I was watching, and I was like, I didn't hear. I saw a lot of people complaining about it, but I wasn't really
people
listening
don't
to
gamble.
it. And I was like, I bet John would love a
that.
game where the commentators, all they care about is gambling.
Sounds like hey,
Florida
who
Atlantic
doesn't worry
won, by the
about
way.
their money, man?
That's right. So did Mississippi State.
I care about what's in my pocket. Did you
Hail
hear
State.
about the Mad Dog Russo? You know how he's now been, I think, unleashed over at ESPN. I don't even know how ESPN, the big shots, are handling this, but I guess they're handling it in stride because they're allowing him to continue. Now every time he comes on, it's on Wednesday. He talks about eating gummies. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is my guy, and he also talks about how he bets $10,000 a game.
Good for him.
And his bookie, he's upset because his bookie convinced him to bet against his own son. And of course,
who's the son?
That's what I was trying to remember. His son is somebody that, obviously in the sporting world, you're gonna have to look it up. I just know that you were talking about betting. I remember them telling the story, but it was kind of
his son is on UConn's basketball coaching staff.
That's what it was.
Tim Russo. I think he's a grad assistant or something.
And he bet against them, and of course, his bookie kind of convinced him, oh man, that line, no. And next thing you know, he bets $10K against his own son's team.
Oh,
and his
wow.
own team
No.
won.
It won UConn. It was Northern Arizona. He just got hired at Northern Arizona. He was a grad assistant at UConn, and now this is his first year at Northern Arizona, and he's an assistant coach. Good for him.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome, though. That
is
he's
awesome.
talking about eating gummies and betting 10K
Let's see.
on his games every week.
Wow, and their first game was at UConn. That was their first game.
Here it is. About 12 o'clock, I'll sit down. I'll make an early cocktail, cut a gummy in half. We got Florida State Clemson. I like Florida State, the quarterback. I'll do something there, bet 10K on it. Then he goes and he's like, about 3:25, when I'm a little sauced, of course I'm not driving and leaving the house, I'll put a call into Fat Rob, and then he goes on and talks like a bunch of whole crazy things. Then he says he sits down after he gets off the phone with him, has a couple more cocktails, eats the other half of the gummy, and then he says he gets really, really ready to rock and fire. Like, this guy, I like Mad Dog.
I do too.
Man, you don't like gummies, though, or betting 10K on anything.
No, I think he's a genius, Mad Dog Russo.
Very interesting character. We got to talk a little Grizzlies. We got to talk a little bit of Tigers. But I want to remind you, Neil's Bar and Grill, where the Fat Man rocks at 5727 Quince Road. You know about all the great bands that come up there. Don't forget, they do lunch Monday through Friday. Today, Thursday, grilled salmon, Mama's meatloaf, fried chicken, pork loin, roasted pork loin. You got mac and cheese, mashed potatoes, corn, fried okra, English peas, country squash, and butternut beans. A meat and 3 veggies, $11.95. Meat and 2 veggies, $9.95. You can't beat it. It's delicious. 5727 Quince. Neil's, where the Fat Man rocks. Isaac Simpson on the other side. Time to talk some Tigers and Grizz. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 56.
It's time for the holidays.
Bah, humbug!
What, you're not all excited for the turkey and dressing and cranberry sauce?
The cooking, the cleaning, the relatives.
Well, you got people coming in from out of town?
Hi, so many people.
It'll be fun.
All I want to do is go to Central Barbecue.
That's all you ever want to do.
Alone.
Come on, it's the holidays.
Sitting there in a booth, all by myself, enjoying Central Barbecue, no family, being all festive.
Well, you enjoy your own private Central Barbecue holiday.
That is all I ask.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, the official hotel of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working towards your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day, from comfortable guest rooms to a complimentary hot breakfast. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay. Fairfield by Marriott, part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels, an official hotel of the NCAA.
Sports and blinds, they just go together. And right now, all Sports 56 listeners get $50 off any order at Blinds Etc. South. Real wood, 3.5 to 4.5 inch plantation shutters made in the Mid-South are always affordable at Blinds Etc. South. And now get $50 off your order. Get your free in-home consultation at 901-681-0225 or go to blindsetcetera.southllc.com. Upgrade your home with custom-made plantation shutters and window treatments from Blinds Etc. South.
Here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Join me along with one of this year's Hall of Fame inductees, Joe Thomas from Soldier Field in Chicago, for NFC action between the Bears and the Carolina Panthers. Both teams looking for a win to lift confidence at the season's halfway point. Don't miss any of the action on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
Score early this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. I like putting a spread bet together with the over for my parlays, and anytime player touchdown always has me on the edge of my seat. So if you're ready to do the same, visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $5 pregame money line wager required. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
Halloween is over, but hiring is still a bit scary. Indeed's end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour is brought to you by Scooters Plus on Summer Avenue. Here once again is Johnny Radio.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's so stagnant. He knows.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. Hanging out with Brian Davis. You know it's Thirsty Thursday. That means it's time to talk with Isaac Simpson. Talk a little Grizzlies. Talk a little bit of Tigers. Oh, man, so much more, man. What is up, Isaac? How's your Thursday?
Man, what is going on, John? I'm good. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed. Have you gotten over that loss by your Cowboys last week?
Yeah, man, that was a tough one, man. I had a chance to pull it out in the end, man, but couldn't get it done, man. I would bring up the refs, but I'm not gonna do that, man. Tough loss, just gotta move on. But I actually feel pretty good coming out of that game. I feel like Philly is a team that we can beat, and I think in about 3 or 4 weeks, I think we'll get a chance to do that down in Arlington. So I think we'll get some get back against the Eagles. I don't fear the Eagles for some reason. The 49ers, they're kryptonite. I don't know what it is about the 49ers. They just can't handle them. But that Eagles team doesn't really scare me. I think they can beat them.
Man, I like it. I will say you have to be impressed. Dak played out of his mind. It's weird how they get down, first and goal from the 6 and ends up being...
Yeah, it took the 2 sacks.
Like 27 yards back. But, hey, honest to God, people were saying Dak can't take that sack. Man, tell your right tackle to do me a favor and block somebody.
That's what I'm saying. They're up there and steal the block. I mean, people say that, and it sounds easy when you're sitting on your couch. Oh, well, you can't take that sack.
He was there in 1.6 seconds.
Like, what was he supposed to do? Like, I don't blame Dak for that at all. That was definitely Terrence Steele in that offensive line not holding up for him and coming up small in a big spot there. So, yeah, I don't agree with the take that people say you can't take that sack. I get the idea of what you're saying, but that's a lot easier said than done.
You say that when you've been back there for 3 and a half seconds, and you look at your first read, you look at your second read, and you decide to hold on the ball and make something happen, and you take a sack, and you let the clock run out instead of throwing it away. That's what they're talking about. When you get blasted with 1.5 seconds, that is your offensive line.
Yeah, it's also a little something called intentional grounding. So I think you familiarize yourself with that. But anyway, yeah, man, tough loss. They got some easy games coming up. They should be able to stack wins there over the next 3 weeks, and then they face Philly again. Man, it could be back in the same situation to where they could possibly tie them and take the lead. Philly has a tough schedule coming out of the bye. I think they have the Chiefs, the Bills, and the 49ers coming out of the bye. So they have some tough games coming up, man. We'll see what happens.
Man, Tigers have a big game, man, this Friday. And I'm talking about some basketball. I have to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to this 8 o'clock game against Missouri. Missouri's long, tall. They got some big, tall dudes down there. But the Tigers got so much depth and so many guys that can score and do so many different things. And they got a bunch of dudes who can actually stroke. We got shooters. How they match up against this team in Missouri?
I honestly think when you look at roster player for player, I think Memphis is the better team. Missouri's going to be favorite because they're at home. But I think this is a huge opportunity for Memphis. And if you kind of look at kind of the resume building games they have on the schedule, and some of those they could even have more depending on what happens in the tournament that they're in. This is probably one of the easier ones, and we've seen this team year and year have to kind of fight and claw their way after struggling early. This is an opportunity to really put one in your back pocket. If they can go up to Columbia and get this one, I think they're in really good shape. But if you look at this one, I think also Michigan is a team they're going to play the first round of the tournament that they're in. I think that's a game that they should win, definitely. I think Memphis might even be favored in that one. But this Missouri game is huge. The chance to get in front of the 8 ball instead of being behind it. And I'm excited about it. We kind of wish Penny was going to be in that sideline, but you do have Rick Stansberry, who is experienced. There's no question about that, man. He's been a head coach for a lot of years. It's highly regarded. So I think he can handle it. But this is one that I really think that they need to go up there and get. I think they'll be probably 3 or 4 point underdog if I had to guess. But Missouri is kind of they're going to be a really good team. I think they're going to be an NCAA tournament team, but they're kind of rebuilding. They lost some guys in the draft and had some guys graduated. So you look at that game against Jackson State. I think at times Memphis didn't really take that game seriously. Jackson State hung around. They were game, man. They came in there. Mo Williams had those guys ready to play the other night. But you saw a lot of good things
by Mo as well.
Man, yeah, and rocking the goal. Looks like I don't know those Air Force Ones, but yeah, man, he was sharp, man. But I like the shooting that I saw from Memphis definitely, and Daquan Walton, man. And I've talked about him all offseason, man. He's going to be a big-time player for this team. I think he might end up being the best player on this team. And you just look at the other guys. David Jones, I think, is going to be a big-time player. Jalen Young, I'm really excited about him and his defense potential and what he brings off the bench. I think he's going to push Devon Quinley, and I think that's a good thing because I think it's going to push him to be his best self because he's coming. And he's going to be here for a few years. So
I'll tell you
the
one
future with
thing.
him.
I did not realize Jalen Young looked good, and he is feisty on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Got great handles, faster than all get out. Number one impressed me. I was like, man, first I was like, who's number one? And then I was like, damn, man, I kept noticing. I mean, he's just somebody who pops off the screen.
Yeah, it's weird because he actually started at UCF for like the first 5 games last year, and they got off to a good start. And then after that, he was completely out of the rotation. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was some internal stuff going on, but I think Memphis got a good one. I mean, if you kind of watch this game, he kind of reminds me of a young Jeremiah Martin. I think that's kind of the potential he has. When he's here 2 or 3 years down the line, I think he could be that type of player because he's super athletic, can really get above the rim, and his defensive potential is off the charts. I mean, he talked about it. He said he wants to be AAC Defensive Player of the Year, and this guy coming out the bench. So he has that attitude, man. He has the right attitude. He's coming. That's what I'm saying, man. I think Devon Quinley better watch out because this kid is ready to come out there and show what he can do, no doubt about that.
I will have to say, man, give you some serious credit. Number 10, Jaquan Walton, he popped, especially early, having the first 7 points, having 15 in the first 23. He kept you in the game early in the game so you can come back and make that run and then dominate. But damn, man, you're right. He is awesome. But, getting off the guards for just a second, going to our centers, what do you think about Malcolm? What do you think about Jordan Brown? What do you think about them and how they match up against Missouri?
Yeah, it's interesting that they brought Jordan Brown off the bench. I don't know. They went with a different starting lineup that I kind of expected them to do against Jackson State.
And Nick Jourdain was in there also starting? Or Nicholas,
yeah, I think he's going to be. I think he's going to be really good for this team too. I think he's kind of a forgotten guy, and a lot of these new guys, the people that I'm talking about, I think he's going to be a really good player for this team. I mean, you saw him with Temple last year, and he came in here and really had a really big game against Memphis. I think both times they played Temple, he played really well. I think that's why Penny kind of had his eye on him. But Jordan Brown, one thing about him, this team wants to get up and down the court, and Jordan Brown doesn't really fit that style. He's a great player, but he's not a guy that's going to be hustling up and down the floor. So that's going to be something interesting to watch. I think Malcolm is going to be big for this team as well. They really need him to have a big year because he's kind of that veteran presence on this team. He's a guy that's been around, been here. This is his 5th year in Penny's system. So they're going to need him to kind of show a little bit of leadership, and you're going to see the consistency. We've seen flashes from him over the years. I think a lot of it just had to do with him just simply not being healthy. I think last year, kind of, that was the first time he had ever really been healthy at all since he's been at Memphis. He says he doesn't want to use it as an excuse, but I think he's been working through a lot of stuff. He had knee issues, even going back to high school at East. He was dealing with some of that same stuff. So I'm hoping for a big year for him, man, for him to go out on a good note. But Jordan Brown is a fantastic player, man. It's just going to be interesting to see how he fits their up and down style, because he's more of a slow it down, back to the basket kind of guy, and that kind of goes against what Penny wants to do, because this team, forgot what they're ranked, but they're in the top 10 in pace. I know they've only played one game, but they're going to want to get up and down the floor. The difference between this team and I think Penny's teams in the past, most of his teams have been defense first into offense. That's not this team at all. I think this might be an offensive team, and Penny hasn't really had that this time, so that's going to be interesting. And the difference, I think, overall, this roster has much more talent and depth. Last year was just kind of Kendrick and DeAndre and a bunch of guys kind of filling around. This team, I think, can go 10 deep. I mean, you have several guys night in and night out that can go out off on this team, and I think that's why you're going to see this team have a lot of success, because when one guy struggles, you got a couple other guys that can pick up slack, and that wasn't the case last year. If Kendrick and DeAndre couldn't kind of lead them to victory, they struggle in those games, and I think they have a lot more depth this year. So I think they're going to be able to win more of those games if a couple guys struggle.
Now, how do you think the big boys match up against the 7-footers that Missouri's got?
Yeah, man, that's going to be
Vanover's like 7'5", but he's only 230. He's a string bean.
He's not playing Friday night.
Oh, he's not? Oh, well,
he's
damn.
suspended for that game.
What did he do?
He played in the Portsmouth Invitational last year, which is players that don't have any eligibility left, and then he got an extra year, so he's back.
Okay, I didn't know he was
the
out.
first 3 games.
Yeah, if you play however many games you play in Portsmouth, you have to set that. You have to set that many games out. So if he played 3 games in a year, he won't be able to play for the first 3 games. So that's a positive. I mean, he's a string bean. I think Jordan Brown and Malcolm could probably push him around, but still rather not have to deal with the 7-3 guys. So that's a positive. I wasn't even aware that he wasn't playing.
I wasn't either.
Yeah, but that's how that
my
works.
Boy Dacus coming in there over the top rope. I like that.
People's elbow,
man. That's beautiful. Man, I don't know. I'm just really excited. I also love the schedule. I love the feel around this deadgum team. I'm pretty stoked. I do have to switch gears for a second. Tigers got one against, of course, the Fighting Biff Poggies in Charlotte. I mean, Seth Hennigan, what are you, like, you hearing anything about him? He's only missed 1 game. He's only missed 1 start. Is he going to be out for this one?
Man, they're really playing that one close to the vest. I think this is going to be a 2 game time decision. I don't think Ryan Silverfield's going to show his hand. It's tough for me because you definitely don't want to lose this game. I mean, you definitely don't want to lose it.
No, not since you just got lucky with the whole Air Force losing to Army and things of that nature.
So, because you would definitely want to set that big matchup with SMU next week. You definitely want to have that and still have opportunity to get to the AAC championship game and possibly win the conference. But if you go with the backup, it's tough, man. I don't know. Charlotte is bad. This is a bad football team. I really do think that they could get it done without Steph. But if you take that risk and you don't, and go with Carter, that's not going to be a good thing, because you're going to have a lot of revisionist history thinking, man, we should have played Steph in this game. But you definitely want Steph healthy in the SMU game. So if it's going to be a situation to where it risks having him out for the SMU game, then I think you should go with Carter. I think that's how you should play it, because I do think that they can win this game without Steph. But if Steph can go, I think he should be out there. But that's going to be, I think it's going to go out right down to the wire. I definitely think that's going to be a game time decision. So that's going to be interesting up until 1 p.m. on Saturday. But that Charlotte team is bad, man. This is a game where they should go out there and win. And that's the thing about the situation that they're in. Outside of SMU, we've thought them to take care of business, man. It hasn't been easy, man. USF went up late, but the Tigers were able to pull away. We saw them go back and forth with UAB. We saw the same thing happen with North Texas, lose the lead late.
Man, that was still crazy how they pulled that one out for Keister.
Miraculous drive by Steph to get skates to the end zone for the game winner. So we've seen them kind of struggle in some of these games, and that's just kind of the AAC. These teams, they just go up and down the field. Not a lot of defense played, high-scoring games. and that's just kind of what you see in this league. And it's almost like you can't have a couple bad drives in a row. If you have a couple bad drives in a row, even against these bad teams, they can put you in a bad spot, and that's what you got to solve. But somehow, man, they continue to win these games. And like last year and a couple years before, they would lose both of those type of games. This year, they've pulled them out by the skin of their teeth, so they haven't really lost anybody that they shouldn't have. So that you want to keep that up, man, and set that big matchup up, SMU, because if they win this week, man, that SMU game is going to be a big one.
Man, can you hold on through a break? Because we haven't even got to the Grizzlies.
No, we'll do.
We're going to take a quick timeout. We're back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. It is time to talk about the Grizzlies. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35%. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamond. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open, the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Fill your game day cooler with the refreshing taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Smooth, real brewed tea with a 5% kick of alcohol. Look for the bright yellow cans. Twisted Tea. Keep it twisted.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour is brought to you by Scooters Plus on Summer Avenue. Here once again is Johnny Radio.
Snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Oh, there goes Rabbit. He choke. He's so mad, but he won't give up. Daddies, he know he won't have it. He knows his whole back to these ropes. It don't matter. He's dope. He knows that, but he's broke. He's
Welcome
so
back to a
sad
little
that he
Sports
knows, and he
56
goes
Happy
back to
Hour.
this
I'm your buddy Johnny
moment.
Radio, hanging out with Isaac Simpson on a Thirsty Thursday. And we got to talk a little bit about that Grizzlies. You know, we talked about the Tigers. They have a big one against Missouri. Connor Vanover, we found out, he is the 7'5" guy from Oral, who now plays for Missouri. He will be out this game, so you don't have to deal with that. So that's pretty good. But man, the Grizzlies got like everybody and their grandmother out. No Steven Adams, no Xavier Tillman, no big dudes down there other than Bismack Biyombo, and you got to be real with it. Bam Adebayo just torched the Grizzlies yesterday. It was kind of it was like there was a little excitement in the third. Took the lead late in the third, and then in the fourth quarter, money time when the rubber hits the road and it's time to get to business. Grizzlies just didn't have the dudes, and I mean you got Gilliard out there with Santi and Jaren Jackson Jr. It doesn't work with the pieces that they have. What's up, Isaac?
Yeah, man. The thing that I didn't understand last night is they continue to allow Bam Adebayo to get to his spot. That right inside the free throw line jumper, that's his spot, and they continue to give it to him. Like, I don't know what it was. And Taylor Jenkins, after the game last night, post-game presser, said that Bam made tough shots. Not too many of those shots were tough. I mean, they were walk-in jump shots to his favorite spot, and that's the thing, man. And I know they're injured, and any team in their situation is going to struggle. But a lot of the stuff that's going on with Taylor Jenkins, these are issues that have been going on for years.
They still don't defend the three-point line. I mean, they're the worst. Like again, even when you're playing the Miami Heat, the Heat aren't a great 3-point shooting team. What they give up almost 40% last night.
Yeah, and that last play, like, I don't know why you have something covering Hawkins in the corner, and then you see Taylor Jenkins kind of motion him to go trap out on the perimeter. I'm like, what you doing? And then he ends up getting open shot. That's what happens when you overhelp, and you can literally see Taylor Jenkins telling Santi to leave and go trap. Like, I don't know why they're trapping that far away from the basket in that situation. And we've just seen this, man, overhelping. And their philosophy is they care more about protecting the paint than they care about the perimeter. And they say that's what the analytics tell them. And this is the analytics-based coaching staff, and that's just kind of what they go with. But I don't understand why they don't use more the eye test.
Why did you can't leave Jaime, even though Jaime Jaquez hadn't even shot a three-pointer that whole game, he was wide open. There wasn't anybody around, and when he buried that was in. That was it.
Yeah. I mean,
hammer nail coffin on us.
Yeah, it's some good stuff last night. I really like what I saw from Luke Kennard in the first half. Welcome back, Luke Kennard. He's definitely found his shot. Junior came in and got some minutes.
Snack looked good on that little roll, by the way. Did you see that? Like when he got to that little dunk he had?
Yeah, and that's the thing. When he comes in, and I've told people time and time again, if you play this kid and he gets to the game and you give him real minutes and some consistency, he would produce for this team. And you see him bring him in the first half, and he was one of the first players off the bench and then doesn't play anymore the rest of the game. But then you have Roddy out there who's really struggled. Like, I just don't understand a lot of the stuff that's going on. They're in a bad spot, but I just think Taylor Jenkins doesn't raise their ceiling. He still has a lot of issues with rotations, that feel for the game. It's just frustrating, man, to kind of watch some of this stuff. And they're sitting there 1-7. I felt like that was a game last night that they really need to win. I mean, you kind of look at what they have coming up. These two home games, I felt like they really need to try to get both of them. With a 1.5-point underdog, that's kind of a pick 'em. And in the state they're in right now, any game that's a pick 'em, especially at home, that's one that you need to try to get. Also, Tyler Hero went down with a rolled ankle early in the game, so you really thought there was one that they could get, and it just couldn't pull it out. I think you hate to say a game is a must-win, game 9 of the season, but this game against Utah on Friday is huge. It's also a tournament game. They're already 0-1 in the in-season tournament after losing to Portland, so you definitely don't want to go 0-2 in that, and you just need this win because you're going back on the road with the Lakers and the Clippers. You got some tough Boston coming in here. You got some tough games coming up after that. They really need to get that one. If they're going to do and try to stay afloat in these first 25 games, I think that's one where they got to have. But they just struggle scoring right now, man. Just can't find the consistency. It seems like all 7 games they can get to, except the one they won against Portland, but they can get right there to 2 or 3 points, 1 or 2 possessions, and they just can't get over the hump. And the next thing you know, other team goes on a run, they're back down 10. It just seems like it's been like that all season.
What do you think about Marcus Smart's first few games with the Grizzlies, first 8 games? How are you grading him?
He struggled, and I think a lot of fans have kind of already soured on him. But I I'm not too worried about him. I think the problem is he's not a point guard, and he's having to go out there and play point guard. He's playing with a lot of new teammates, new systems, and I think he's in his head thinking, okay, where do I find my offense? How do I set the table?
And that's not his game.
It's not his game, and I think that affects him on the defensive end as well. I just think he's thinking too much. I think once Doc comes back and he moves over to that shooting guard or small forward, wherever they play him in that lineup, I think it'll be better. I think it's just a lot that he's taking on right now, and that's just not his game because he played point guard some in Boston, but his job in Boston was just bring the ball up the floor, get the ball to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, get the hell out of the way. And that's a little bit different because the guys on this team, Jaren Jackson Jr., they have a hard time creating their own shots. They don't have a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, those type of creators that he's playing next to. So he's needing to be. They need a true point guard, and they're asking him to do that, and that's just not what he really is. So I think it affects his game overall. Because people talk about the defense. Defense has been lacking, but I just think that goes that they're just asking to do him too much. He's wearing too many hats going on right now. But I think once the team is healthier and you get Ja back, I think he's going to be fine for the team.
Zaire is getting worse by each game.
Yeah, the confidence that he showed in the preseason and those first couple games, man, it seems to be all the way gone. I mean, he's really hurting this team, especially on the defensive end. And I think that he's one of the big contributors to the team getting off the slow start. And I said last night on our podcast that I think they should insert Luke Kennard in the starting lineup for the time being because this team right now is not built to come back from deficit. If they're going to win basketball games, they really need to try to get off to a good start. And I think having Luke Kennard on the floor with Desmond Bane, with Jaren Jackson Jr., I think having those two guys that you have to honor from the perimeter will just open up things for everybody else. It also gives you extra ball handler because now you got Marcus Smart on the floor that can handle the ball. You have Luke Kennard that can handle the basketball, and also Desmond Bane. So I just think it makes the team better overall. You would have questions on how you could score off the bench at that point if you put him in the starting lineup. But at this point, they're just short-handed anyway. I would rather get off to a good start and try to figure out how to get bench scoring after that. I think Junior could be used more in that role because we know that he can get buckets. So I think they should use him more. For some reason, they just haven't seemed committed to that. I don't know what it is because he produces every time he comes in, and people talk about his defense, and he's even been playing well on the defensive end. I mean, he's been coming in making he had more defensive plays last night than he had offensive plays. So I don't know what it is about Junior, man. They won't give him a real chance. But, yeah, man, Friday is a big one, man. You don't want to go 1-8 going back on the road. So hopefully they can find a way to get a victory, man. They're going to have the city uniforms on. They're going to be revealing a new court, which I think from the ones I've seen, the Grizzlies look like one of the better ones in the league, man. So that should be a fun night down at FedEx Forum. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, dude. I was about to, start plugging you and talk about Ethos Grizzlies, but I saw on your X or Twitter, whatever you call it, the Atlanta Hawks fans know where the real action is. They got the Atlanta Hawks got an OnlyFans account.
Man, yeah, that's what it looks like, man.
Is this real?
That's interesting, man. Yeah, it's real, man. They can tweet it out from their account, man. I was kind of surprised to see that, man. I was on here, so I just kind of looked at it vaguely. I couldn't see everything that it showed. I'm just wanted to see what they're talking about when I got off, but I thought that was interesting, man. It just stood out to me.
That is hilarious. I'm sorry, but the mascot being under the bed and
I saw
caressing himself. The Atlanta Hawks making me laugh today.
That's a lot, man. It is the home of Magic City, so
it is. It is. Do me a favor. It is. Tell everybody where they can find you and what you're working at over at Ethos Grizzlies.
Yeah, man, definitely at Ethos Grizzlies. Go over there, give us a like and a follow. David Williams, Candace Higgins, and myself. Definitely, we're pumping out post game. We do a post game podcast after every game, so we'll be back on there tomorrow night. Had one last night as well. You can go check that out at Ethos Grizzlies. Check out my work on the Tigers at TigerSportsReport.com, and you can find me on my personal X page at Isaac_NBA.
Man, Isaac, thank you so much for your time. Be blessed, my friend. We'll do it again next week.
We'll do, man. Talk to you next week.
That is Isaac Simpson. Again, follow him at IsaacW_NBA and check out at Ethos Grizzlies. They don't play no games, man. You know who else don't play no games? Scooters Plus, man. You can go out there and make your own dream bike. Head on out there, man. They got all the parts. They got the service. They got the place. They got go-karts. They got scooters. They got e-bikes. They got ATVs, golf carts, UTVs, motorcycles, mini bikes, dirt bikes. They got everything. If it's got an engine, they got it. They also got all kinds of deals going on. the new TGB 600cc. Electric's taking over. You need to check out their e-bikes. They also got, I'm talking about like everything you need. Again, if you're a gearhead and you want to work on your stuff. They also service them. Ware 3425 Summer Avenue. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday. Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. It's the largest showroom around. Again, they also have financing options available. You can even go to their website, scootersplus.us, and find out how much you qualify for before you even walk in the door. Check them out. On the other side, it's Evie Van Pelt, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78. That's Lamar. And the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything! A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of those things. When things get too heavy, just call me helium.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to Little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. Brian Degas is hanging out with me, and you know it's a Thirsty Thursday, brought to you by, of course, Tito's Handmade Vodka. We're going to talk with Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk. You know Ole Miss Evie. She joins us every Thursday. There's a big, big game, man. It's a big game. Ole Miss, Georgia in Athens. Oh, we're going to talk about it. Plus, we got to talk about Chris Beard, what's going on with them. And I'm pretty sure Ole Miss women's basketball, they got a pretty big one tonight. I believe it's number 23 Oklahoma down at the Pavilion. So we'll see what Evie has to say. But I will say I had so much fun last week at the Texas A&M game. The fact they came back and went down this field and scored one made it much better. The Grove was awesome. But I got a new pickup line, number one. And... okay. And I shouldn't probably say it's Chas. If you're listening, it's just for radio.
All right, there you go. A little disclaimer.
Well, I mean, at least it's it's an icebreaker, not a pickup line.
There you go. That's
icebreaker.
A great word, icebreaker.
It's just an icebreaker, so you can say something. Because there's so many young ladies who go to the games wearing their cowboy boots, and I'm like, hey, did you get those at Frontier Western Store? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, man, I know. I love that place. 5880 Goodman Road down in Olive Branch. You can check them out on the line as well if you can't get to Olive Branch at frontierwesternstore.com. They have the largest boot showroom around. That's all got all your jeans and skirts and fall fashions, ladies boutique, children's department, and again, the largest boot showroom in the world. What's up, Evie? How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Another big week for the Rebels this week.
Yes, we could say it is very big week. I know a lot of Rebel fans right now who are already nervous about this one, and also a lot of them who are very ticked off that they're 10.5-point dogs. And I'm saying, hey, don't feel disrespected. Just put some money on the game.
Amen. There you go. Wise words there from you, my friend.
Thank you. Are you a little shocked?
Take those 10.5 points.
Are you shocked that the line's that big? I mean, when you look at Carson Beck and you look at Jackson Dart, their numbers are almost identical. You look at the run game. I know they're trying to play mind games. Brock Bowers, I do not believe, is going to play. Yesterday was the first day he was out on the field running. I mean, he's just running. I don't think he's going to be out there. A lot of gamesmanship, I feel, right there. But the line for me was just a little large.
Yeah, it is probably a little bit large. But again, take those 10.5 points and run. But I think, we've listened to Lane talk all week about how really we're going in there. He said he actually used the words and said he feels like we're playing with house money because nobody expects us to win that game on the road at night in Athens, tough place to play. And he said, they hadn't lost there in something crazy over 40 games. So I think probably that has a lot to do with it. The sheer magnitude of the numbers of how good they are in Athens.
Yeah, they are very, very nasty. I mean, Kirby Smart's built a dead gum machine. It's also an NFL football factory. You can give all the accolades. Of course, two-time champions, didn't lose Jack last year. And again, Carson Beck didn't even know he was going to be the starter at the beginning of the year, and the young man's flourished. Again, they're like him and Jackson Dart's numbers are identical in touchdowns, interceptions, yards are very, very similar. Jackson does a little bit more with his legs. Do you feel like, 'cause the way that it feels like the national media is talking about Carson Beck, he's putting his name up there, he's creeping up some draft boards, blah, blah, I don't hear the same thing about Jackson Dart. Do you think there's an advantage here on one side or the other with the quarterback?
Good question. We just put an article out about Kiffin and Dart and how they're off. Ole Miss is off to an 8-1 start for the second season in a row, and that's the first time that's been done since 1961-62. So a long time since Ole Miss has started off consecutive seasons that well. I think you're right. I think Beck is given the advantage there, but honestly, if you go and you look, I've said before, I'm a big believer in ESPN's total QBR. Carson Beck, 82.7, Jackson Dart, 82.2. So, there's just not a lot of difference there. What I will tell you, I feel like with Dart this season, Ole Miss has come from behind in the fourth quarter 4 times this season. That's huge. That is a big, big deal. So I feel like, in terms of who's faced the adversity, I think Ole Miss has. And it's like Lane Kiffin said after the A&M win, which I'd love to be able to talk about that for a second. But after that, he said, 5 stars, talking about A&M, 5 stars don't like getting punched in the mouth. And sometimes, you see how they respond. And so I think, definitely Georgia is nothing. It's not a whole lot of 5 stars and 4 stars. So, honestly, I like Jackson Dart's grit and his determination and his composure under pressure this season.
I have to say I'm right there with you. And back, and we will speak about Texas A&M because, one, that you can't drink all day unless you start in the morning. That's one thing I learned at the Texas A&M Ole Miss game. So I'm
guessing you had a really good time.
I had so much fun. You have no idea. Now, my Sunday when I woke up around noon, I wasn't feeling as ripe as rain, but I had a wonderful, wonderful time. And a lot of it had to do with, the start was amazing. Ole Miss came out there and punched them right in the mouth. The blocked field goal kind of screwed things up. And then all of a sudden, that fourth quarter, things got a little bit scary, a little hairy, you could say. But Ole Miss at the very end of the game, went down there and took care of business. What did you think about the Rebels beating Texas A&M's the Aggies?
Well, I tell you what, I mean, it just was, Kiffin joked after the game that Dart, the first thing he said after Ole Miss scored to take the lead 38-35 was he ran off the field and said, we scored too fast. We we left too much time on the clock. They're going to go down there and score. And Kiffin said, Jackson, calm down. Let's be a little more positive here. Well, they're going to make the kick, and he said, be positive. Anyway, so I think that was kind of funny to me. And the look on Jackson's face, we've seen videos since of when A&M attempted the game-tying field goal there. And, of course, Xavier Harris got his finger in there and blocked it. But, Dart looked completely shocked. But what a big win. I tell you, I probably every Rebel fan, when it looked like we had intercepted the ball there at the end.
Yep.
And then it was overturned. Everybody was just euphoria, and then it was overturned. And
the place blew up when everybody thought it was a pick. And I thought, man, I was for sure it was a pick. It went crazy. And then all of a sudden, I had that horrible feeling like when Notre Dame didn't get the pick against Ohio State. I was like, oh, my gosh, if they go and kick this field goal, goes to overtime, I'm going to freak out.
I know, and I think every Rebel fan, there have been so many close, weird games, over the years that have not come out in Ole Miss's favor, and 4th and 25 will always be seared into my memory. But to see Xavier Harris jump up and get a finger on that's a big 6'7" boy, and if he'd have been a 6'6" boy, he probably wouldn't have blocked that. So. That was wonderful, and we got to interview him earlier this week, and he was asked, how many blocks have you had in your career? And it was actually surprising because he said before he got to Ole Miss, he'd had about 20.
Dang.
So he just.
This is a 335-pound man.
Yes. And, he just said the whole time, it was really cute. He said going through his mind, and we were asking him what was going through his mind, and he said, I just was thinking, I'm going to get this ball. I'm about to grab it. I'm about to get it. And he said when it hit his fingertip, he said, yay, I tipped it. And it was just, he said, I was so happy. And it's like, yes, so were, 66,000 people there with you. But, so that was interesting, but he's just his mentality, and he's had, at least 20 blocked field goals. So there you go. Now, speaking of another 6'7" large human being, we did hear that right tackle Micah Pettis has an injury that will probably keep him out of the Georgia game. So anytime you're going to face that big front of Georgia and you lose a big body, that's a tough one. Fortunately, I think, I'm not sure what they'll do, but I know they've got Victor Kearney at left tackle that they could slide over. He can play right tackle, and you could bring in last season's freshman All-American Jaden Williams and put him back there at left tackle. So, the hope is not lost by any means, but we definitely wish Micah a speedy recovery.
Man, depth is so dead-gum key when it comes to playing a college football season. Right now, the depth has definitely helped out the Rebels team this year. But right now, how healthy are they going into Georgia after playing a physical game against A&M?
Offensively, other than Micah, I think they're doing great. I was a little worried at one point. I saw defensive lineman Jared Ivey come off the field, maybe a little shaken up, and I'm friends with his mother, so I immediately texted Mama after the game and said, "Is he okay? Is he okay?" And she said, "Yeah, he's just a little banged up, but he's all good." So I think again, that was Lane talked about it all week. A&M has got some big, talented, strong athletes. So I think there were a lot of people feeling some bumps and bruises after that game. But in terms of overall health, I think Trey Harris, my goodness, we haven't even talked about him yet.
Yeah,
oh
what do you have, 200 yards? And, I think, golly, I know he had double-digit receptions.
Yes, he did. I think it was a career high for him in both. A career high, he had 11 receptions and 213 yards. And he's averaging 19.7 per reception. And Ole Miss, I think, is, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ole Miss is they lead the FBS. They have 3 wide receivers with over 600 yards. So Wade has 602, Watkins 627, and Trey Harris at 749. So imagine that. Wide receiver
No joke.
Stand up.
It's the way it is. It feels like all the dead gum time, especially when they're extremely effective. I mean, last year he had almost 1,000 yards, and this year, man, he's coming out strong. Jackson Dart's play has been extremely good. He's taking care of the ball. How do you feel like this offense matches up against what a lot of people are saying is one of the best defenses in the country? If you look at them, they're third down. They're a top 5 at getting people off the field on third down. They're also the most efficient offense in the country on third down. Third down is going to be huge, but specifically, because there's some drives we've watched, especially against Alabama, that third down has been a problem this year for the Rebels.
It really has. And, I think one thing, though, that I think was interesting is going into the A&M game, A&M had averaged holding its opponent to where the opponent's third down average distance was 9.5 yards. So third and 9.5. And I think Ole Miss really got them with their tempo. So I think, Lane was kind of asked, how do you combat, one, their stadium at night, and it's going to be electric, and 2, that defense, that talented of a defense. And I think Lane really believes that tempo can even a lot of things out, and you saw that in the A&M game. I think A&M really struggled with Ole Miss when they got their tempo game going.
I'm right there with
you. Yeah, so I look for that to happen. And Lane even said, sometimes the tempo plays in your favor, even when you're on the road and they have that really loud crowd. He said it sometimes messes up the defense because you're going so fast, the crowd is still cheering, and they haven't, quieted down a little bit yet. And so he said that sometimes the defense can't hear, and so because they're going so fast. So that'll be another thing to watch. But I look for that tempo game. I think if Ole Miss can get in and have a good first half, call me crazy, but I think this could be one that goes down in the fourth quarter.
How scary, Pete Golding's got to be talking about Ladd McConkey.
Oh, man, doesn't he?
Hey, he's come basic. He ain't come out of nowhere, but he sure turned it on of late.
Oh, he sure has. And, I just think, Pete, if A&M wasn't enough, here you go. If LSU wasn't enough, here you go. So I think he's definitely got a lot on his plate, and it's kind of like going into the A&M game. Kiffin said he actually said, I kind of feel bad for John Garrison, the Ole Miss offensive line coach, to go up against that big defensive front for A&M. But my gosh, the offensive line protected Dart and Quinshon. That final drive, Quinshon, he just has a different level in the fourth quarter, I think, when we need him.
Yeah,
he's
got that extra gear for sure. He definitely has that. And that's going to be also extremely crucial. Like everything about this game is kind of freaking me out, but I'm excited. I'm glad they got to play Texas A&M in that, big defensive front because it makes me feel, better about Georgia. Also, Missouri, they left some points on the board against Georgia. Realistically, I mean, there was a couple times that I thought for sure they were going to get some points, did not get them. Only lost by 9. They were right there in it. And as good as Missouri is, I just feel like this Ole Miss Rebels team from top to bottom is better.
Oh, I absolutely do too. And Missouri has that running back Schrader, and I feel like he's very good. But I feel like Quinshon. I'd like my chances with Quinshon, and I just feel like Quinshon. I was talking with somebody earlier this week. To me, the difference with Quinshon has elite vision. And for a running back, I mean, obviously that's invaluable, but elite vision, and can take a 1 yard gain and turn it into a 5 yard gain, or a 5 yard gain and turn it into a 12 yard gain just because of his vision. And I heard somebody say he has such elite vision. He sees things in real time that a lot of running backs don't see until they're replaying the game film, and then they may see it. So, I think Quinshon's going to be key in this game. Quinshon and Ulysses. But if Dart can protect the ball, I mean, he's continued to do that really well this season. Get a few big throws into Trey Harris, and then again, pick your poison, because then you've still got Dayton Wade and you've still got Jordan Watkins. So I think if Ole Miss can protect the ball, and they're +8 in turnover margin, so they're doing a really good job of that. They got a shot.
And also like Jackson Dart, what he can do with his legs. That's, you get a little man coverage on the outside and they try to run. Like, they come up there and all of a sudden a little hole opens up and everybody's got his back to Dart. Dart can take off and do some damage with those legs. One other thing, though, is like I keep looking at Georgia, and their schedule is why they're not the number one team in the country. Missouri was the was the very first test of them. I mean, they played Florida, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Auburn, UAB, South Carolina, Ball State, and UT Martin. That is not exactly murderer's row. This Ole Miss team will be the best team I think they face this season. And 10.5 points again. I'm taking those bad boys.
Oh, I am too, all day long. And, back to what you say, I mean, Dart absolutely can hurt you with his feet. I think he's been a very good decision maker this year. Last season there were some times, his first season, in the RPO, a lot of new. His decision making was kind of, gray. But he's even talked about, things have slowed down this year. He is a lot more competent. The players respect him, and absolutely, if you're not disciplined on defense, he can hurt you with his feet. Because he can escape. But, it was interesting. Kirby Smart in his press conference Monday was asked, what are they going to do? How are they going to handle Jackson Dart? And he said, well, first of all, when he takes off running, we're going to treat him like any other back out there. And, it's kind of like Kirby fired a few shots there, like, we're going to square up and hit him and, hit him hard and, whatever. So I don't know what was going on there. But, Jackson is a big, strong boy. And I think that also works to his advantage.
Dream scenario for Ole Miss fans. And again, right now, when you look at the college football playoff and the rankings, everything, it's still very difficult. But if you beat Georgia this week, and then Georgia were to beat Alabama in the SEC championship game, and you're sitting there at the end of the season, and the Rebels are 10-1, or what is it, 11-1, 11-1. That's going to be a pretty good position. Is this like the one year that might actually work out for the Rebels if they can win in Athens in the dark?
Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking it, looking ahead for a long time when it kind of became clear that probably Alabama is going to win the West. Again, you have Alabama go to the SEC title game. If they get beat by Georgia, which could happen, but if Ole Miss has run the table and is 11-1 and has beaten Georgia head to head, then, I don't know what you do if you're the committee. You've got some bedlam there, because that's that Ole Miss would have a strong case if that
Heck
was the
yeah,
one
with wins
loss.
over LSU. Tulane, by the way, is ranked and doing well.
Mhm.
Win over Georgia, shoot Auburn,
Right.
Texas A&M, Arkansas. Man, Arkansas I shouldn't say anything about.
Well, bless their hearts now. They played well at Florida.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
that's
they
Florida.
Yeah, I know.
I do feel bad for Arkansas, by the way, though. Like, it's been a very rough season for them. But yeah, they did get a win over Florida last week. Evie, I'm going to run out of time if I don't get over here to this. I got to ask you, man, what you think about the Chris Beard era opening up?
Well, I tell you what, I really like what I saw in the very first game. Their win over Alabama State, and it's funny because a lot of people were watching that and thought, oh, they didn't win by more than 10. What will we do? And I really think that we just learned a lot. We showed, I think the Ole Miss defense had stretches of elite potential with a lot of versatility. They had the ability to control the paint, force teams to make tough shots. We have a lot of multiple scoring options on offense. I was also impressed with the way Chris Beard coached them also. And I saw at one point he called a timeout, and Matthew Morrell came over, obviously the leader of your team. And Coach Beard wasn't, in his face, screaming, yelling, whatever. He actually was listening to his senior player tell him, what was going on. And then, they worked out a plan there. So I was really impressed with them on a lot of different levels, and it's going to be fun to watch them. And before we run out of time, the Ole Miss women play Oklahoma
Big one tonight.
Big one tonight. Coach Yo is excited about that. And when they lost to Oklahoma last year, it was interesting. We had a media opportunity with her yesterday, and she said she really felt like that one was on her at the end. And I thought that was really interesting that she made the comments that she did. And I tell you what, I look for Coach Yo to get them. She said, they struggled offensively last year, and she just thinks that she said it was funny. She said, after watching the film, I didn't think that was one of my better coaching jobs. I was disappointed in some of the adjustments I made. So I think that's interesting, and I think that's just part of her appeal is she owns it when she feels she needs to own it. But I don't look for that to happen tonight. I think the Rebels will get the win there over a good Oklahoma team.
Well, everything right now is feeling like really good with the Rebels. Like everything just is kind of working out the right way. Hopefully, all the balls bounce right on Saturday night when the thing kicks off at 6 o'clock. Hopefully, the Ole Miss women's get a big win tonight. And I got to ask you, though, because my time's run out. I'm sorry, that's our time. But I need to know what you're working at over on the Rebel Walk.
Well, I tell you what, we've got we'll have coverage of the women's game tonight. We've got some previews and predictions coming up for the Georgia game, so people can go check out therebelwalk.com and see who we think and our esteemed panel thinks is going to win. We'll have coverage and preview of the men's game tomorrow. And then, of course, all the coverage. I fly out tomorrow, headed to Athens, and we'll have all the coverage of that game.
Man, Evie, you be blessed. Enjoy your weekend, and hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.
That is my friend Evie Van Pelt with the Rebel Walk. Go to therebelwalk.com. They're their number one source for all things Ole Miss sports information. Follow them on Twitter at the Rebel Walk, and don't forget to follow Evie at Ole Miss Evie. Now, we're going to take a quick time out because I got some funny stories for you on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Spencer here with ATC Fitness. There's no better time of the year than now. Football and fitness go hand in hand in the fall. And with individual screens on each piece of cardio and multiple big screens throughout the rest of the club, you'll never miss a bit of the action watching your favorite team. ATC Fitness continues to be the Mid-South's choice for fitness, family-owned for 30 years, and proud supporters of Coach Silverfield and the Memphis Tigers. Join online at atcfitness.com. ATC Fitness, exercise your right to look good.
Uncorn flavor, Corky's barbecue. Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. For 39 years, Corky's has been proud to serve our legendary slow-smoked barbecue in our dining room and drive-thru. Whether you're stopping by to pick up a barbecue sandwich, some Corky's award-winning catfish, or any other meal, you can add a third of a rack of ribs for only $7.99. You heard that right. Add a third of a rack of ribs to any order for only $7.99. You can place your order to go at Corky'sBBQ.com. That's Corky'sBBQ.com.
Genesis Diamond's first ever 3-day store-wide sale is this weekend. 3 days of mind-blowing savings, up to 35% off. Earrings, bracelets, bands, pendants, plus thousands of engagement rings, all on sale. Designer jewelry has been flown in from New York and California for this. Certified diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and luxury pre-owned Rolexes are also included. Don't miss the biggest and best store-wide event all year. Save 20, 30, even 35%. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday only. And only at Genesis Diamonds. Poplar and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
I am obsessed with Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday sale because I can find up to 40% off my beauty favorites each week. Shop deals like Tarte Shape Tape Concealer at 30% off. I'll also be gifting myself. And $15 cleansers from brands like Tula and Philosophy. Plus, up to 40% off select hair tools like the Revlon One Step Blow Dryer. Find the gifts that bring joy to everyone on your list this holiday, especially the gift you give yourself. Hurry in store or place your online pickup order today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Ryan Dacus. We're about to do a little bit of Hardwood because it just feels so good, and I got some crazy stories for you, man. There's all kinds of stuff out there. I mean, from everything from psychedelics to the NFL scripted, and the latest conspiracy has to do with their Super Bowl colors for the upcoming Super Bowl. If you look at them, it makes a little sense. I'm going to talk to you about that. Plus, a couple stars who, sadly, former NFL star, his ex-wife, soon-to-be ex-wife's boyfriend, robbed him out of a whole lot of things. It's an absolutely wild story. We'll get to that and just so much more in just a minute. But I want to tell you, man, it's lunch. It's like 12:30. If you haven't gone to lunch yet, man, stop on by Little Italy. I'm telling you, it's East Memphis, Little Italy. It's at 6300 Poplar Avenue. It's hidden in the back at the corner of Poplar and Massey. That's right, hidden in the back of the corner of Poplar and Massey. It's right over there in East Memphis. It's East Memphis, Little Italy. They bring Italy to you. You can eat it. You can taste it. You can feel it. You can tell how amazing it is. Their calzones, their pizzas, any 18-inch pizza or entree, you get a free complimentary desserts. You get a mini cannoli or a slice of New York cheesecake. Head on in there. Get the best. I mean, they got lasagna, rigatoni vodka, Alfredo, lobster ravioli. Again, their calzones are straight fire. The melted cheese, the ricotta cheese. You get any of the meats that you want. Little Italy, 6300 Poplar Avenue, hidden in the back at the corner of Poplar and Massey. Let's go to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Man, all kinds of sad stuff's going on in this world, bro. Like, this has to do with just people out there have been kind of mean, you know what I'm saying? And this is just really mean. If you were married, and let's just say your wife and y'all are going through a divorce. Divorces are ugly, are they not?
Oh, very.
Pretty sad stuff, right? You think to yourself, oh, man, I can't do this. This is horrible. Well, Earl Thomas, I don't know if you know who that is. My man Earl, well, his wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, her boyfriend, stole his identity. Went and got all of his information, went and had a driver's license in Earl Thomas's name, put together with his picture on it. Went and got all the necessary information, stole like $1.2 million, took possession of a bunch of cars, some property. Now, by the way, homie's in jail right now, and he's looking at going to jail for a long time. But if you're Earl and you're in the middle of a divorce, is this not ammunition for your lawyer? Be like, look how bad this woman's taste is in men.
Then you can look at yourself in the mirror, I guess.
You're like, look what she tried to do to me. I'm the one who's being punished here. No, just look how bad she is. I mean, like, dude, that's like in the middle of a divorce and your boyfriend steals his identity. I feel like that's just going to hurt the divorce proceedings, don't you?
I think so.
What do you think he's going to get out of this bad boy now? I mean, what's she going to get?
Jail time. She, I guess, will get nothing.
Man,
she'll like it.
I just cannot believe that I saw this. I mean, it's just insane. $1.9 million was stolen from him. How ticked off are you if you wake up one day and your bank account's been a bunch of money's gone? You got credit cards. By the way, he took out a bunch of credit cards. He was out living his best life, just charging everything on Earl Thomas.
My biggest fear is that someone's going to steal my credit card or debit card information.
Oh, and by the way,
you can have the credit card.
This is the other thing that was bad. So, a Rolls-Royce SUV, which Earl Thomas owned. My man used his license and all this stuff to transfer the vehicle's title.
Wow.
Had that junk repossessed. Earl doesn't know where his Rolls is. My man's out rolling around, spending his money on his credit card, driving his car.
Wow. That's crazy. Well, I guess not anymore because he's in jail, right?
Well, he's out on bond, actually.
Wow.
He had a $730,000 bond. Who in the hell paid for that fee?
Probably.
I mean, you got to throw up $73,000. I guess he used one of Earl's credit cards.
Earl paid for it. What are you talking about?
How funny would that be if he actually used Earl's card to
No, for real this time. Earl's bonding me out. No, this time isn't me. It's Earl.
Damn, man, that is. Woo-wee. By the way, though, there is some stuff, and this is also the bad thing. So, Nina Thomas is the one that's going through the divorce with Earl. And Nina was accused of also holding a gun to Earl's head after catching him with another woman. So my question, if you're a judge, cheating is wrong, right?
So is stealing.
Well, so is stealing. But also, like right now, you're trying to weigh what's worse. Like, because I do understand cause and effect. The fact that Earl was sleeping with another woman in her bed caused her to get ticked off and pull her gun out of her purse and stick it to his head. She did not pull the trigger. She did not make it go click. But he was doing a little dirty work. So that was going in her favor. I can understand cause and effect. She didn't shoot him. No harm, no foul. But I mean, Earl was probably, shooting just blanks. And like if I'm the judge, I'm probably leaning a little bit towards her. But then after this, I don't know. I'm starting to look at that whole holding the gun, like decisions. You don't make very, very good decisions, dear. You should have just walked out, divorced him, gotten half. Maybe even more than half.
But how much do we know, like, her involvement in this?
Well, they say right now, so far, there's Nina, of course, Nina Thomas does not, she says she knows nothing about this.
Well, of course she's going to say that.
I mean, of course she is. I mean, you're not going to sit there and say, yeah, man, computer fraud, credit card fraud, money laundering, bank fraud.
No.
Identity theft. That was all him.
Right.
Like, do you think she had to help him?
I mean, I would assume so. I don't know how any of this works, John. I've never tried to steal anybody's information, so I don't know how easy it is, how hard it is, if it's a two-man job, if it's just a one-man job. So I'm really no help here.
Well, I appreciate your trying.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's what matters, right?
But
You tried.
if anybody's trying to do it and I can help them without getting caught, I'm all in.
You're all in.
Sure.
Well, that's...
I just don't want to get caught.
All right, I got that for you. Congratulations, Earl. You did your best. You didn't do anything too terrible. And now I feel like you got a leg up on this whole divorce proceeding going forward. Now, Paul Pierce is a little bit wild, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Paul Pierce gets on his, he went on TV with Kevin Garnett. What were they doing?
It wasn't TV. Was it TV or was it I think it was more like a stream. And they during
and he
a
brought
game
a
or
prostitute.
something. Yeah.
And he was drunker than Cooter Brown.
Right.
And he was very
I think
upset.
it was like a podcast or something. It was something. I remember what you're talking about.
And KD wasn't really happy with him. And again, Paul Pierce, he's a crazy dude. Have you heard of Ruby Rose? She's a rapper. Do you know who she is?
Yeah.
You know who she is?
Yeah.
She's young, man.
Yeah.
Like really, really young. So Ruby Rose tweeted out, "Wake up to a bad bitch." And a picture of herself, doing a selfie in the mirror with her backside and all this stuff.
It was a Showtime stream where on Showtime or something on Showtime where they were sitting watching the NBA Finals and reacting. So it was like a watch along with Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. Yes, and KG was trying to be very professional, just have fun,
and Paul
watch
Pierce
the game,
came
talk
in
about it
with a cup of alcohol and a prostitute.
And Paul Pierce was getting off, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't really happy about the whole prostitute bringing. By the way, I wouldn't give her a 10, that's for dead gum sure. But no, Paul Pierce then texts underneath that, he hit her back and he put "my crush." All right. Well,
get to the back of the line. You know how many people on Twitter I've seen talk about her? I mean, back of the line, partner.
Well, I think the funny part is a lot of people are like, bro, she's older than his jersey number, talking about "my crush." People started digging at him. But then all of a sudden, Ruby Rose comes back and says, "Text me then," to Paul Pierce and quotes him and puts her number down on the X. So she had to put a fake number down, right?
Risky business, I would hope so.
Because everybody that saw that was starting to text Ruby Rose saying, "I'm Paul Pierce."
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's Paul.
You know how another person was saying some really good points. Paul, you old and you ugly, and your bank account ain't as big as it used to be.
Well, that's mean.
And also, Paul, you go on TV with prostitutes. I don't know how
and
many women.
He also had that video that got him fired from ESPN.
I don't know how many women, by the way.
I know prostitutes were also involved in that one.
I don't know how many women in this world, when they see a man and he's flaunting around his prostitutes, are probably attracted. And by the way, I don't know if you know this. Do you know what Your Tango is?
No.
It's it's a website. It's about dating and women's stuff and all this stuff.
I see.
Yeah, Chas was told me about it the other day, and she sent me this thing. She says these 18 strong personality traits make women swoon over men. And if you have these, then you can win. And I don't know if Paul has any of this. Well, he does have a busy life. One is they want you to have a busy life.
Okay.
Sitting around in your house playing video games with your homies ain't a busy life. You know what I mean?
Well, John, they just announced the trailer for GTA 6 is coming out in December.
Know what that is.
So, it's it's a great video game.
GTA, that's a Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
I got this, and that's the new strain that's kind of hot right now. Did you know that? That's how come I know what GTA is. Grand Theft Auto is a sativa strain.
Interesting.
Well, it's a very good. I like it.
The video game is one of the most popular video games ever, but they take forever to make them, and everyone was losing their mind last night because
it's coming out.
They announced they're dropping the trailer next month.
Well, have a busy life, okay? If you want women to love you.
So I'm just saying,
but not with games.
Yeah, I'm saying there's gonna be a lot of guys that are gonna be playing GTA.
You need to have leadership skills. Do you possess those?
Me? Oh yeah.
Do you have passion?
Oh, yeah.
Damn, you know what? A lot of women are going to like you. Do you have confidence without being cocky?
Depends on who you ask.
Well, no, man. No. We got facts, bro. These are facts.
Then, yeah.
You're confident?
Oh, yeah.
You don't act too cocky sometimes?
No. I've never been cocky a day in my life.
See, I kind of lead into the cocky a little bit. Oh, wait, yeah? You didn't say, "Oh, John, you're the most humble guy I know"?
I'm kidding, John. You're the humblest.
That's one where I'm I'm confident, definitely confident. maybe a little cocky. You got to have strong beliefs and opinions. I know you got those. I got those too.
Sure.
Do you have any patience?
No.
Well, that's like the sixth most important thing is to have patience.
Strike one for me, I guess.
You also have to have the ability to make decisions. Have a good sense of style. That's the one that kills me.
That kills me as well.
I'm colorblind. I like to wear T-shirts. Not big on dressing up. I do. I can dress up. I look good when I get to a wedding. It's just the whole getting me dressed before we go is just a pain.
I see.
You gotta have a strong voice. I got a strong voice. They like little 5 o'clock shadow and beards. So these are all the things that women like. They also say you have to have nice socks. Are ankle socks in, or is it now people wearing the socks that are like up high?
Whatever your preference is.
Nah, somebody told me the other day they can tell like if you're 40 or not. Because if you're 40, you wear ankle socks. If you're under 40, you wear them up.
I mean, I know a lot of people that wear ankle socks. Connor wears ankle socks. My best friend wears ankle socks. They just say it's more comfortable.
Interesting. One other thing is, did you know that they say psychedelics, when you hallucinate from taking psychedelics, that's just a side effect? That the real magic that's going on with magic mushrooms, LSD, MDMA, all these things, is actually the effect that it has on your brain and how easy it is for both hemispheres to talk to each other. So they're coming up with a way
Seems very complex.
to give you these types of effect with actually not making you hallucinate. Do you think you would take these if this would make you smarter, brighter, and less depressed if you didn't hallucinate? A bunch of medical benefits they're talking about.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I'm just knowing a lot of people are like, if I don't hallucinate, then why am I going to take it? But anyway, that's awesome.
Sure, isn't that all the fun?
That's the whole fun part. That's the whole fun part for me. Go to a wiggle band and wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And, see what you're seeing. Now, we got our bets on the other side. I hope everybody's ready to make some money. And I hope all you men out there learn what women really want. Because that Mel Gibson movie of What Women Want, that was so BS.
Must have missed that one, John.
He could, hear what women's thoughts were.
Interesting.
Yeah, man, please, whatever, dude. I got it from Tango. Trust me. Don't touch the dial. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78, that's Lamar, and the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
Here at Memphis Barbecue Supply, we have everything you need for your Thanksgiving feast. If you're smoking, deep frying, or putting that turkey in the oven, we got over 20 different turkey injections and brines to keep your meat juicy and moist, with brine bags and buckets, and 308 different rubs and sauces to choose from. If you're in need of fuel, Memphis Barbecue Supply carries 9 different types of wood chip, chunk, mini logs, and logs of wood, and over 4 tons of wood pellets in stock. And don't worry, we also carry thermometers, injectors, and all other sorts of gadgets that you might need to simplify your cook. And for any questions that you might have, our knowledgeable staff is always eager to help. Memphis Barbecue Supply is located at 7041 Stage Road in Memphis, or you can order online at mbbqsupply.com. Follow us on all the social media platforms for recipes, new products, and barbecue news.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
eBay Motors, here for the ride. Elbow grease and a whole lot of love transformed 100,000 miles and a body full of rust into a drive entirely its own. LED headlights, spoilers, whatever you need, eBay Motors has it all at affordable prices. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, it's guaranteed to fit your ride every time. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home the win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply.
Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
But you gotta be willing to take the hit and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that and that ain't you. You're better than that.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to Little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Brian Dagas. Big thanks to Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk. Isaac Simpson. It's been a fun show. And I also got to remind you, it's time to get my plays of the day. I have one football game that is on tonight. Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears. Thanks, NFL. 2 teams combined for 3 whole wins and 14 losses. But you know what? I'm definitely going with the Bears. Sounds crazy. Who do you think has the better quarterback? The number 1 overall pick in Bryce Young out of Alabama? Or a kid in...
wow, 2 rookies.
2 rookies. And what's the other kid's name?
Tyson Bagent.
Tyson Bagent. Oh, yeah. Where'd he come out? Division II somewhere?
Division II.
Dad's an arm wrestling champion.
Yeah, I forget the college he played at.
He wasn't even drafted. He's from Division II. He played at Shepherd University in West Virginia. Damn, did you see me find that on my feet real quick?
That was impressive, John.
I can tell you, man, like, impressed with myself. So I'm definitely going with the better quarterback here. I'm going with Tyson Bagent. Is that his name?
Bagent, yeah.
Bagent, whatever. Bagent. Yeah, the A, G, and then the E. Oh, Bagent, you're right. Tyson Bagent will start. I'm taking him. Bryce Young is terrible. Now, the games that I really, really, really like, well, I got 2 college totals that I love, 1 under and 1 over. I'm going to tell you what those are next. But first, I got to remind you about Meadowbrook Country Club. It was started in 1959. It was a private club until this year. Now it's basically you can make it private for a day. That's right. You can go out there for $59. That's the tax. That's the card included. That's 18 holes. Bing, bang, boom. You can check out this little track, par 71, 4 tee boxes, champion Bermuda greens. It is awesome. Head on out there. It's 10 minutes from downtown. They're at 1250 West Broadway, like literally Meadowbrook Country Club. If you live downtown, you might not just want to join it for a day. You can become one of their members just for $350 a month. That's your golf, that's your swimming pool, that's the tennis courts, pickleball, great restaurant and bar. The Bloody Marys that they make over there with Tito's is out of control. Tito's and Meadowbrook Country Club. Golf is great. Everything out there. Again, if you live in the downtown area and you love playing golf, you need to check out $350 to become a member. And if you just want to go play their little track, it's only $59. You can be a member for a day. Now, the bets that I got, they are this weekend. But I need you to go put your money on these games right now. UAB Navy, the total right now is 55.5. We are going under. Do you know why we're going under?
Why is that? Because
out of 8 games, Navy has gone under in 7 of those bad boys. The only one that went over was Central Florida 44, Navy 30. That is not going to happen. I love the way the clock runs in college now. Navy's going to run the hell out of it. UAB's going to run the hell out of it. Under. And then I got an over that's just can't miss. LSU this year played 9 games. Do you know how many times LSU has gone over this season?
I'm sure a lot.
Every game. All games. Every game. You don't jump off a horse when it's running a great race. They've gone over the total 9 games in a row. LSU Florida total right now is 63. This sucker's going to be 67 before a kickoff. Get it today. Over 63.5. LSU Florida again. 9 games, 9 overs. We riding these horses.
I like it.
I like it too. Well, tonight there's not much NBA action. There's only 2 games tonight. Definitely Grizzlies not in action as they do play tomorrow against Utah. But we have the Bucks and the Pacers who had a very close game last night. And then you have the Hawks and the Magic. So for the NBA, just 2 games. No college football. Is there any college football tonight?
Yeah, I think there's a game or 2.
Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Well, hope everybody enjoys that wonderful football game you got. For Dacus, I'm John. Get out there, make the world a better place. See you on the flip side. Peace.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry